Hello, everybody.
What up? We're finally back with a lot of frustration and built anger.
Let's see.
Finally out.
What time did we try to start the podcast? About an hour ago.
Oh.
So we literally been diagnosing a problem for an hour.
Well, yeah, we're trying to better serve you guys because we read all the comments. No, I'm just kidding. But like the audio was fucked up last time.
Yeah, I put it right in the title. You know, like that way. That was my thinking was like, no, you literally cannot get mad at me because I put it right in the title. You just can't. I
usually don't get like frustrated, but like we couldn't figure it out, and like my daughter was crying. She probably will start crying again during this podcast. But like we were at the melting pot, like where like the boiling point where like I was legit about to just be like, yo, like let's fucking end the podcast forever. I just don't even want to ever talk about a microphone again in my life.
That's above and beyond. Well, I was just gonna say for the night, let's not do it. We'll figure it out eventually.
But I started thinking, I was like, it's not gonna work next week. Like the shit will never work again. Like, cause what would we have done? Like we were trying to figure out every single solution. Like we Googled shit. We like fucked with every setting. So it literally crossed my mind. I was like, we're never gonna do this shit ever again.
I mean, we would have obviously figured out some way, like
I don't know what.
Molly would have entered and been like, click, click, that's it, you're good. And we would have been like, oh.
Yeah, well, so tell everybody what the fucking... It was like,
okay.
It's one of those situations where you figure it out and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so here's what happened. As we're fiddling with every setting. We're fiddling with the Skype audio. We're fiddling with the separate laptop audios.
I changed USB ports and
Changed
shit.
USB ports. I told them, let me listen to your shit, just the laptop mic, because obviously the microphone's not working. Tried everything you could possibly think of. And then at the very last second...
It literally was the very last second. Like, we were about to hang up on the shit.
Yeah, I saw on our call recorder program that we use to record the show, I don't even know how I found the thing. I didn't even find it. My body just, like, reacted to something and fixed it. And basically what it was is a feature I never knew existed ever, okay? And it's on the output volume, and there's this little, like, shadowy thing, and it was, like, sitting... Like
it looks like you can't even click on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's extend the box.
See, because everybody's gonna say, "Oh, you're an idiot." Like, what the fuck? No, but it's one of those things where it doesn't even look like a feature. It just looks like it's not an option. It looks like not an option. But for whatever reason, I slowly scrolled to the thing and clicked it, and then dragged it up, and then boom, I started hearing you louder.
Yeah, you were like, "Yo, I got it," and I was like, I was so relieved, just because like. It gave me reassurance that it wasn't my, like, not.
Yeah, well, we thought it was okay. We thought it was both of us though, because I said even throughout the whole thing, I was like, I still don't know if it's you or me, because you had done chats with Corin on your YouTube channel, Corin's World, where
we need 900 subscribers after this.
900? Okay, that's a lot. That's a big ask.
5,000.
Damn, that's what's up, man. You're doing well. But you had done talks. You had done talks, and it worked. Your audio worked, and the other person's audio worked. And me, I have done 2 interviews since the last podcast, and it worked. So there was reason to believe your shit was working right, and reason to believe my shit was working right. And then there was also reason to believe both of our shit was fucked up. So we both restarted it. I signed out and signed in to Skype, and just 8,976 problem-solving things later, at literally the last second, we figured it out.
If anybody works for Skype too, you need to like have a better troubleshoot problem, because I tried to log in through so I'm usually always just logged into Skype on my one account. So on my Mac I have like I can log in through Corin, or I can log in through Molly, and Molly has like her own like display settings and shit like that. So I logged out, went onto hers in Skype, and it made me re-log into Skype. And I typed in my username and my password, and it was like, we need to hit you with some confirmation shit. We sent you a code. But the email address they had is totally wrong. And I was like, I never even remember typing that in. And it doesn't give you an option to say, like, that's not my address, or hit me with a text message or some shit. Like, it's literally just either, do you have the code or not? And
yeah.
If you don't have the code, you're fucked. There's no, like, back button.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
What else to like?
So you're asked out on that. That reminds me of that reminds me of the thing that you tweeted the other day about the email that you got that was fake YouTube?
Oh my god, yeah. Well, I first texted you and you were playing golf, and I remember you were playing golf, so I was like, let me tweet this shit because like Twitter knows probably better than I do anyway. And I mean, Molly sent it to me and she was like, ask Kyle. She's like, it's definitely a scam, but just want to make sure. And then I was looking at it more, and it was like, they're asking me for my password and shit like that. Like, come on.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, you got it. And her instinct was right. Here's the test. I mean, first of all, if they ask for your password immediately, like,
OD, like
shit is fake as fuck. Fake as fuck. And then also when you click the email to see the specifics of the email, and what was it? It was some really
it was like white.
It was like
Find it.
It was super questionable. It was not some straightforward shit. So I knew
mad shady.
I knew it was fake. Not just because they asked for your password, but also because because PayPal tried to hit me with that too. It wasn't a PayPal email, but they tried to make it look like a PayPal email.
Yeah, PayPal's like notorious for that shit. Oh, it was YT control mail.ru.
Super fake.
Is RU, people were saying that shit is Russia. Is that really like a Russia domain?
Could be, I guess. I don't know, but that shit is definitely a scam.
You know what's wild is like, so everyone was writing, so literally I never download all the shit that like everyone's downloading. Like I never played Candy Crush or like fucking Words with, I did play Words with Friends, so I did download that. But like there's all these like apps, and now that FaceApp shit is like the most popular fucking app ever. And then there was articles that came out that said like if you downloaded FaceApp, the Russians have all your information and all this stupid shit. But like
fake. That shit is fake.
Yeah, like it's just like whenever something blows up extremely big, all the news outlets have to find something that they can like report on it, you know, and try to be like, idiots, we got you. Where it's just like the government or everybody else out there already has all of our information. Like, if you do like some 23andMe shit, you're sending them all your fucking info, like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think what they were saying was you're giving, like, for future, like, facial recognition technology, you just gave them a perfect picture of your face where they could do facial recognition technology. But the part of the story that's bullshit, the only part that's bullshit is the Russia angle. They try to say, oh, one of the companies that developed it or whatever is a Russian company. Bitch, we should all be more afraid of the NSA and the CIA than any Russian shit. Like, yeah. It's definitely the NSA and the CIA who already have all of our information anyway, now getting our faces so that, yeah, they can do some facial recognition technology and some weird shit that takes away your privacy.
And what the fuck? You don't put your face on Facebook, Instagram, like Snapchat? You're not, using filters and all this shit? Like, have you read all those terms and fucking regulations also? Oh, okay, you know everything about those, like, shits. So
yeah, people were like, oh, they could, if you use that shit, they could use any picture of yours for, like, advertising purposes or whatever. That's what was in the terms of service. As if anybody would be like, no, I object.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to use this in a McDonald's ad or some shit. And they'd be like, nope, that's not why I signed up. I signed up to strictly use this for my social media account and not get popular from this.
Isn't it crazy how it got better, though? Like, I remember the old person shit that I tried, like, 5 months ago or 6 months ago. It was okay, but you needed to be at a certain angle face on. You couldn't be, like, off to the side or anything. And now they made it better so that even if your face is off to the side or whatever, they could still make you look old and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I never really downloaded those shits, and then I don't know what it was. I think I was at an airport, and I saw one of my like buddies on Instagram used it, and I was like, all right, if he used that shit, let me just see what it looks like. And I took a selfie of myself with it, and I sent it to you, and it looked fucking hideous.
Yeah, so did mine. God. I thought mine looked terrible too. You said mine didn't look bad.
But you took an actual picture, right?
No, I didn't take a picture. People did it for me. People, somebody tweeted it at me. When I tweeted something that was unrelated, then somebody tweeted that at me, and I was like, what the fuck?
No, but that, so my point is, it was a good picture of you. Like, I had the camera right in my face, and I was just like, For
me, it was a screenshot from my show.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But, your face looked like normal. It wasn't, all up in your grill. It wasn't just, like a up close photo of you. Like it was a nice picture. Like a lot of what people did was like took a good photo of them where they looked like normal, and it made them look like old but sort of still like reasonable, you know?
Yeah, and
Whereas
you're
my
saying
shit,
it was up
it was
close.
just like, yeah, it's like when you FaceTime someone and the phone's all up in your face and it's like bad angles. Like my shit was from like down here, so like maybe the app made my chin worse or whatever, you know, like whatever it picks up made it a lot worse than if I chose like some dope Instagram picture I took of me on the beach or
Yeah,
something like
I mean,
that,
tell you
know?
the truth, man, just the nature of that thing, I feel like everybody looks like shit. You know?
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody looked
yeah.
good in that.
I
Nobody
know.
came out looking good because the whole point of it is, oh, I'm gonna make you more wrinkly. I'm gonna put your hairline back further.
Yeah, but you could tell the people that were posting it were still trying to be like, oh, look, I don't look that bad when I'm old. You know, like because they used
Nah.
like a really good photo.
Really? You think some people were doing that?
I bet you if I post the picture of the one that I sent to you, which was like all up in my face and nasty, like versus a good picture of myself that I think was like a good picture, you'd be like, oh, the one in the good picture, you don't actually look that bad. Like you look old as
Okay.
fuck, but you look better than like the phone all up in your face.
It's
And that's what people
possible.
were trying to show.
It's possible. I was mortified either way, to tell you the truth. Like the one that they sent me of me, I was like, whoa.
It was creepy, and it's creepy that like it's creepy one that's an like that it could show you that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
it's that predictable how you'll age. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like there's unforeseen shit. Like we know you're gonna get more wrinkly. We
Yeah.
we know your skin's not gonna be as tight.
I wanted to like make predictions, like put a fucking weird tattoo on my face and be like, when you're 64, you're gonna decide to get a tattoo on
You're
your face.
you're gonna get the Mike Tyson tattoo.
Yo, what do you think his mindset was behind getting that tattoo? I
He's
know
Mike Tyson. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Speaking of boxing, though, did you hear about this? There was a boxer who just died.
I heard, but
Like
what
died
was that from?
from boxing.
No, I mean like, did he fight on the undercard of Pacquiao and them?
Oh, I don't know. All I know is he's a boxer, and it was like a televised fight, and he had like brain swelling, and they had to like do emergency surgery to relieve the swelling, and then there were like, I don't know, blood clots in the brain or something like that, some sort of brain hemorrhage or something like that, and he died from it. And yeah, he was young too.
It doesn't get talked about a lot, but like it's almost like now that happened, it's almost like you're watching UFC, you're watching boxing, and you basically like as a fan, you sort of want them to fight like to like the death type of deal, you know, like where it's just like
I
you
never
want them to
felt
beat the
that
shit
way.
out of each other.
I never felt that way. I want to see a good fight, and I want to see maybe dominance or maybe
Yeah, but you're still watching the match like knowing that they're fighting. You know, like you watch a basketball game, they're competing, you know, they're playing
Yeah.
defense, there's some contact there. Boxing, you're punching someone in the head. So like ultimately the worst case scenario from that happening is this death.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this makes it real as fuck for people. Because people can
Yeah.
go, oh, that's what you're doing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got it. That's what you're doing. Like, it's not... I feel like everybody has a false sense of security because we don't hear about this often. But I'm sure this happens quite a bit. And also what you don't see is a lot of these people in their older age, when their brain stops functioning properly, and when they can't like string a sentence together, and it takes them a long time to talk, and like they're just slower as a result of being hit in the head so many times.
Yeah, I mean that's the same shit with UFC. Like there was that one fight where the guy like right off the bell just hit him with like a flying knee kick or whatever, and the guy just straight blacked out, and the guy still like was taunting him or hit him one time while he was down, and it's like that's what everyone was living for there. But like if it came out later that guy died, it's almost just like, oh, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
it's just and someone made this comparison to I think it was like Rogan retweeted some comedian or some shit like that because supposedly someone made a joke on Comedy Central about like the guy XXX whatever his name was or whatever who died.
Temptation,
Tenacione?
Yeah, Tenache.
Like they made some jokes saying like all rappers do is rap about like shooting and killing each other, but then when it actually happens, like no one can talk about it. It's like it's the same shit with like boxing. It's like you expect them to fight till someone like blacks out or passes out or goes to the hospital, but then when it actually happens, you're like, oh shit, that's not supposed to happen. It's like, no, that's what you've been like talking about.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
I feel like everybody kind of had the view of it as like, okay, there are some bare minimum standards and bare minimum parameters here. Like with UFC, it used to be literally anything goes, and then they came up with like a few rules. And now today there's still a few rules, like you can't do low blows. Like there's a bunch of shit you can't do because people know like, okay, that does cross a certain line. And I think everybody has this default assumption of like, well, if they're doing it, if they're boxing, there's got to be some sort of science behind the gloves or something where the gloves are just thick enough where you're not going to get a situation where somebody gets killed from getting a punch in the face or whatever. But in reality, no, these are brutal combat sports, and sometimes the worst happens. But I mean, that raises the question, what do we do about it? What is there to be done about it? Because some people were saying, like, well, you need to have, like, stricter regulation of it. Some people are in favor of just flat out banning it. Like, what can be done about it? I don't know what I think about it. I mean, my gut instinct on all kind of things like this in the first place is, like, pretty libertarian leaning, which is, like, if people choose to do it, let them do it. But then again, what would happen in a situation where, let's say, for argument's sake, you have, like, 5 boxing matches in a row and, like, 5 people die? Then what? Then are we just going to say, like, well, just let them do it, bro. It's all good. Like, no, that's a problem that would need to be addressed. You can't just have people dying like crazy, you know? But where is that line? Like, what's acceptable? Like, what is the line where we could say? Because we don't allow dueling anymore. Remember dueling back in the day, where somebody would insult like the honor of your wife, and you'd like slap them with a glove and be like, "Good sir, I do declare we're gonna have a duel in the street," and then you would march.
Oh, that was like when they had the shootouts, right? And they would like in the old Western movies.
Not just the old West, in the colonial days and shit too. There would be like, people would duel. Yeah, if somebody insulted you or whatever, they would just straight up duel and be like, have a shootout in the street or whatever. And it's like, we don't allow that anymore, because even though it's like it would be voluntary if 2 people decided to do it, it's like, yeah, but even though it's voluntary, we probably shouldn't allow people to do that. So like,
dude, old movies, they would literally just be back to back. They'd take like 10 steps or whatever, and they would be like the first to get to their holster. Why wouldn't the person just like take 5 steps and turn around and then shoot the dude?
Because then your honor is under attack even more that way, and people will know you're a scumbag.
I don't know. I like to think that, and this is my argument with all these, like, I mean, old school NFL players coming back and suing the NFL and all this shit. Like, and maybe it's different for old NFL players because they didn't know like all the tests and all the shit that comes out, that they've started to discover now about like CTE and all this stuff. But for boxers and for NFL players who are getting into the profession now, it's almost like you know what you're getting into, and you get paid a lot of money, and that's the decision you make going into that field. And I have this argument with Hollywood actors and actresses. It's like, don't come bitching and crying later saying like you don't want paparazzi taking pictures of you and your family and all this shit. It's like, you know what the fuck you signed up for, so I don't want to hear you crying about that shit later. Like you're in the limelight. Like you knew moving out to LA and like auditioning for that movie, you knew the ultimate of what would come from that is all this extra shit. So don't come crying now that you want to go back to your old lifestyle of flying under the radar and being low key. You signed up for that shit. You got to deal with the consequences. And sometimes those shits are extreme. Sometimes it goes a little extra. Like if the UFC match when Conor McGregor was fighting the guy Khabib or whatever, they fought, and then after the match, I think it was Khabib's trainer or whatever punched McGregor while he was on the fence. That's some extra shit. If you want to make some rules against like your trainer being around the ring after the match, do all that shit. But if he got fucked up by McGregor or vice versa inside of the rings and everything that was going on, and he had bad brain damage and was like in a coma for whatever, it'd be terrible. I'd feel really bad, but you got paid a lot of money and you knew what you signed up for. Same thing with paparazzi.
I agree with you.
Over fences to get in your house and shit,
I agree with you to an extent. I agree with you, not fully, because that doesn't mean like if you're a celebrity, that doesn't mean you also signed up to have like your kids harassed at school by some assholes trying to get a quick picture. Like there are lines. Like just because they signed up to be a public person means they signed up to be a public person when they're on the screen, when they're doing a TV show or when they're doing a movie or when they're doing a music video. It doesn't mean that they said, "Oh, and by the way, please, park yourself in my bush outside and try to get video of me taking a shit in the morning." They didn't sign up for that. So, and by the same token, for fighters and for players in the NFL, yeah, they knew what they signed up for and they knew that there was some level of risk. But the question is, what level of risk? If like we can't sit back and watch like a bunch of people die from brain hemorrhages from boxing, that would be a reason to take action and have some sort of regulation to prevent the worst stuff from occurring. That doesn't mean that we can, and where I would disagree with some people who are more to my left on this issue, again, I'm somewhat libertarian on this issue, is they would say like, well, no, it's just barbaric and we shouldn't allow it. And it's like, well, but no, I don't want to live in a society where everybody gets to tell everybody else what they can and can't do, and the ultimate goal in every aspect is safety. Because then there's no, NASCAR racing, there's no contact sports, and I'm not okay with it. I value the freedom of those sports existing more than I value the safety if they didn't exist. But in my mind, I still have some bare minimum levels that need to be reached. We can't have people just dying from participating in these sports. We should have some rules and some regulations in place that mitigate the damage. And in the case of like the paparazzi example you gave, which obviously is in sports, it's like, yeah, we have laws against like, stalking and harassing and stuff like that. And so, yeah, Kim Kardashian can't bitch if she's coming out of a restaurant and the paparazzi's there and she's all dressed up and she's pretending like she doesn't want the attention, but she does. No, that is what you signed up for. And a fighter can't get mad if they get a bloody lip, and a fighter can't get mad if they're sore. Like, you signed up for that. But you didn't sign up to die, and you didn't sign up to fucking get a picture taken while you're taking a shit.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. But then again, I don't think it's not very common in boxing that, a boxer dies from a fight, Now after the fact, maybe years later, they have bad brain damage and all this stuff. But you don't hear about it too often.
Well, we don't hear about it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't go on. So it's like, what can be done to mitigate? It's hard. It's a hard line to walk because the idea is you still want to keep the integrity of the sport.
Yeah.
But you also want to make it more safe. And
here's what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more stories now. Like you'll see a random amateur fight. And a news article will come out and it'll say boxer dies, amateur fight, because it's more like prevalent now. It's the same shit that happened in Dominican Republic, like with this whole like drinking shit. And they said like 7-8 people died at the resorts or whatever. Now there was definitely something going on, but when the news wants to build these stories and have like a big outcry against it or whatever, they can find what the fuck they want. Like I'm sure there's I'm sure there's the same amount of people dying in Mexico or some shit like that, like that died at a resort or died a week later or something like that. But you don't hear about it because it's not the story that sells or not,
I mean, it's possible, but I tend to think that was an actual story and that there were more people dying there. But I take your point about the media. When they latch onto something, they could try to push a narrative and make it like this is an epidemic.
Think they just blew that DDR shit out the water a little bit. Like, there was definitely something going on, but I think that they also were they were reaching for shit too. I mean, like, people died, but there's people dying probably on every fucking resort somewhere.
I don't know. Wasn't it like the same single resort? It wasn't like from all over DR. It was like one resort.
No, it was a couple, I think there was a couple different resorts, and like what my brother thought happened, or vaguely thought what could have happened.
Bad drugs, poisoned alcohol, something like that.
Yeah, like there was a distributor that provides alcohol to like all these resorts, and he was making his rounds and had a tainted batch or something.
Exactly. Shit. That's got to be it. That's what I would think.
They also had these people who passed away, and not to fucking shit on them, but they would be like, this guy was in great health. He was, fucking like never had any health problems, and they showed a picture of the dude and he was like 400 pounds or some shit, and I was like, something doesn't add up there.
Yeah, but he probably didn't die from the weight. That's the point. But yeah, he's not in perfect
but,
health.
Like, they try to make it like he was a fucking like marathon runner, and they showed the picture of the guy, and he like was terrible.
Well, that's just dumb. He still shouldn't have died, but he's not in perfect health.
Yeah, no. There was definitely something going on.
Yeah. I just saw before we did the podcast, there was 11 great white sharks that were spotted off of Cape Cod during the 4th of July.
Oh my gosh.
And then also, like, it's crazy because there was also a video from Cape Cod of a great white shark trying to jump on a boat. Like, it was on Twitter. There's this kid walking to, like, the edge of a boat, and a great white shark tries to, like, jump up a little bit. And then also in fucking Cape Cod, there was a tornado that was hitting in the water over the 4th of July weekend. So, dude, they literally had like a sharknado. I mean, they didn't really have sharks that were in the tornadoes, but they had tornadoes and sharks all over the place.
In the same area.
Yeah.
Dude, the weather's been fucking wild, man. Like,
okay, you want to hear something crazy? I was outside both those days during the worst days of the heat wave.
Yeah.
Because I had a golf tournament, and it was
right?
100 degrees out there, and I was out there for 6 hours both days.
That's insane.
I've never in my life have I broken out so quickly. Like, I used to have acne back in the day. I haven't had acne since I was like a teenager. And then after 2 days in the scorching hot heat, I broke out immediately. Damn, you froze, dude. You're back.
You're back.
You froze for a minute. Oh shit, my thing is fucking up.
There you go. No, I hear you now.
Okay, yeah, it was my internet randomly fucked up. That's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but anyway, you're back.
Yeah, the scorching heat.
Oh, did you didn't hear my story about me breaking out?
No.
Oh, that the whole time I was broken up. Yeah, I was outside in the 100-degree heat for 6 hours both days, and I never broke out so quickly in my life. Last time I broke out, I was a teenager. It's been years, and I immediately broke out from the heat. It was tough, man. By the end of the first day, it was literally like, if I don't take immediate action, I'm in danger. Like, that's how hot I was after being out in that for 6 hours. Like, I needed to immediately pour cold water over my head, drink something cold, put a cold towel over my neck, because if I didn't do that, it was like, okay, we might have to go to the hospital if you're out in this heat for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was fucking blazing. And I saw people like, I mean, and it goes back to the age-old question of do you prefer cold or hot? But, like, when it was that fucking hot, I was almost like, I wish it was cold right now. You know, like, you always wish the opposite when you're in it. But
yeah, it's always the opposite when you're in it. Because remember that day when it was like, what was it in Chicago?
It was like negative 47 degrees.
And you were outside in it. And the crazy thing is, I remember you showing me the video of it. I made you record some of it. It was sunny, so it didn't look like that.
I know. I was like standing in the middle of the street, and I was like, oh, I'm good. And then like literally 20 seconds later, I was like, no, I'm not good. That was the same shit with the heat. I tried to cut my grass, and it was just blazing. It was too fucking hot. So I waited until like 8 o'clock at night and then cut the shit. Yeah,
the problem was, at least here in New York, is not even, it was that hot the first day. The second day it wasn't as bad. The first day it was that hot, plus there was no wind, plus it was humid. So the first day, that's why it was like literally you're outside and it's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
That's what it was like the first day. The second day wasn't as humid and there was a little bit of wind, so the 100 felt like 90.
There's some shit going on, right? Because it's just like outside of the weather, there's just weird shit. Like, I mean, like, I don't know if those sharks are just like a random thing that's happening.
Well, they said in the article that I read about it that like it's just because there's a food source and it's all the people getting into the beach. That's why they're there. They figured out like, we could eat here.
Yeah, because it's coincidence that they all were there like that weekend where it was probably OD packed on the beach, you know?
Yeah, they just knew there's food here, so let's be here.
Yeah, that's like me. I mean, when I go to like Texas and I know there's a fucking popular ass barbecue spot, and so does everybody else think that shit too when they're in Texas, and that's why that shit gets busy as fuck.
That's right. That's the shark barbecue spot.
Yeah.
But the question remains, what's better? Like, my general view is I'm somebody who likes a cooler thing more than a warm one. Like, but if you give me the extreme options and you say you're either going to be in 0 degrees or 100 degrees, I'm probably picking 100 because it is possible to stay outside in that 100 degrees for 3 hours. I don't even know if it's possible to do it with 0 degrees.
No, probably with like coats and shit on.
With coats, yeah. With coats, that's true.
The heat was the same shit. I was like, I can't take anything off more. Like, I was in the street butt-ass naked. No.
And then you tried to take off your skin like some sort of serial killer.
Yeah, I know. It was fucking hot. And then now it's good again, but like, now there's storms. Like, and I showed you the picture of how dark the sky got.
We've been getting them too, man.
Some scary shit.
Well, my mom made this point, and I noticed it as well. Is it just me, or do you feel like when we were younger, storms were usually quicker moving? Now, at least here in New York, sometimes it'll rain, and it rains for like 2 days straight. It's never just like, a quick thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, out here, it rained quick the other day, and I was actually surprised by it. I was like, oh, it just rained really fast, and then it got sunny again.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like, it being some extended shit. Like
that happened one day this year. One day this year, we had the quick showers that went through. Outside of that, it's always been prolonged streaks of whatever kind of weather it is. So it'll be like rainy for 2 days, or it'll be like sunny for 2 days. Like the storms feel bigger and longer than they used to be. It used to be plenty of, especially in the summer, you get those like late afternoon showers in the summer that just go through like quick thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm. They definitely seem like scarier for some reason. Like I don't remember storms like when I was a kid or growing up.
That picture you sent me from the thunderstorm that was developing, ooh, was that scary looking.
Like back in the day, I remember storms, but now when I go to sleep, sometimes like the fucking rain and thunder and like lightning and shit is like to a point where I'm under the sheets and I'm like sort of shook that I might not wake up tomorrow because like some shit's gonna happen storm wise, like fucking crazy. Like my house is gonna be on some fucking
some tornado wipes your shit out.
End up in like Kentucky.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the storms being this like scary. Like now every storm is like on some scary level shit where it's just like this is just 1/10 of what it's gonna be in 10 years when we finally like the next storm really fucks up the world.
Yeah, I've had a similar feeling. I feel like the storms have gotten worse too. And like I'm more it could just be I'm more aware of them. Like it used to. It was always like this, but I'm more aware of them now. I mean, that's possible. But
I mean, you don't think you were more aware of them? I feel like as a kid you'd be more aware of them.
Nah.
Or you'd just be like, oh, it's just a bad storm. And
no, it's weird because when I was younger, my attitude towards weather was always just like, it is whatever it is. Like I never thought about it. It never occurred to me. I never cared to, like, I always used to laugh at my dad because my dad would always, like, his go-to would be, like, your default is to turn on, like, SportsCenter and watch SportsCenter. My dad's default shit was to turn on the Weather Channel and watch the weather thing. And I never understood that because I'm like, hey, dog, look outside. Like, that you see that? That's what it is. There's your forecast, dipshit. You want to go outside? Put your hand outside the window. 65 degrees. Go. You got it. What do you mean? You're going to sit there and watch a TV show on the weather? I never understood it.
I think my mindset changed. I think I'm like your dad now, where it's like I need to know what the weather is. I'm dead ass. Like I need to know what the weather's going to be.
No. Well, hold up. Even I got another one too. Like that's bad enough, but I always feel like so. What my mom would do is like, whenever I've been in the car with her and it's been like an extended trip, like let's say 2 hours or more, when we're already on the shit, she'll be like, I gotta listen to the traffic. And then she'll put on like the shit to listen to the traffic. And I'm like,
my dad, the same thing.
I'm like, yo,
traffic and weather.
There's like, there are no options here. We're going on the trip right now as we speak. Whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be. Why do you need to know this shit? Like you're about to see it.
Yeah. My dad would listen to that shit religiously, just like your mom, and we'd be on the shit. I'd be like, just look ahead, like, it's clear or there's mad traffic. And he'd be like, hold on, I want to hear if there's traffic over the bridge. And I'm like, and what the fuck if there is traffic over the bridge?
Exactly.
Are we gonna like turn this shit into a boat and fucking go on the water? Like
that's exactly my thoughts. That's 100% my thoughts. Like,
it'd be some AM radio shit, and it'd be like, oh, traffic and weather coming to you in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Like, all right, on Route 53, there's a backup 15 miles. And then I'd ask my dad a question like during traffic, and he'd be like, "Oh no, hold on.
Always.
Another half an hour until the shit came back.
That would always happen. It's always weird. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking my dad about that shit because like, one of my radio stations wasn't working, and his first instinct was like, "Oh, put on AM and see if that shit works." And I was like, one, why does that matter? And he was like, "Because the frequency is stronger." But then I was like, two, who the fuck still listens to AM radio? And like, if they do, that shit can't be like profitable with like Sirius and like Apple Music and fucking every other option you have for radio. Who the fuck is gonna listen to AM radio?
That used to be the conservative talk radio like hub was AM radio. All you could get wall to wall on AM radio was just like Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity.
They're still all over there.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them are still doing it
like that. They still do like gospel shit.
Yeah, AM radio. It's funny because
Disney?
AM. I do remember that, but AM radio always sounded worse to me. It always sounded lower quality than the FM. Mm-hmm. Didn't it sound like that to you?
Traveled further. Like it definitely sounded shittier. It sounded watered down.
Yeah.
But Radio Disney, I think, you could hear that shit in, like, China or some shit. Like, if you had a car out there and put on 1560, I think it was, you would still pick up Radio Disney and hear, like, some, like, Britney Spears shit or, like, fucking Genie in a Bottle.
Damn, Radio Disney was rocking with Genie in a Bottle? That'd be what's up.
They had all that shit, but it would, like, you couldn't really jam out to it because the loudest you put it at, it would still be like, oh, gee. It would be, like, mad fucking, like, filtered. It'd be like one of those crusty ass TV shows I was talking about. It'd be like mad dull and have no color to it.
My reaction to like you know how I've told you I'm like allergic to like local news, like any kind of local news show or state news show. I get a weird feeling when I watch them. Like they feel so dead and like substanceless and just terrible. And
corny.
What's that?
It's corny.
It's corny as hell too, but like that same feeling is the same feeling I get when I hear the radio disc jockey like voice.
Yeah.
That used to be the case, like Paul Cubby Bryant or Elvis Duran, fucking KTU or Z100 or
Z100 had like Frat Boy Greg, I think his name was, and he would be like, "All right, I'm gonna put this.
I'm gonna jerk off this homeless guy. You guys ready? Oh, here I go."
Just like the stupidest shit, and it'd be like. You couldn't see it, and he'd be like, all right, I'm walking into the room. I'm going to put this doorknob in my butt and see if they wake up. And then, like, you'd have the lady who was supposed to be, like, she was supposed to be, like, the reasonable one.
Yeah,
like, Oh, Greg.
Greg, don't do that. No, but what I was going to say is I still get that feeling of, like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, I have Sirius XM, and... Like, I turned on whatever one of the stations is that's like the hits station or whatever, and they had somebody talking like that, and I was like, no, you're supposed to be the people that hit you with nothing but the music and just keep it real. But they had some dude who was doing that same shitty-ass voice. They were having the same shitty conversation, like a guy and a girl, all talking with the same voice. And it was like,
those motherfuckers hate each other right when they get off the air. Like,
they do
nothing together.
What pisses me off is that the way that they're talking when they're like, that's their radio voice. You know damn well when they wake up in the morning and they're talking to like their significant other or something, they're talking in a normal voice. And then they get on air and they're like, all right, I want to tell you a story about what happened to me when I was on I-95.
Yep.
It's just gross.
Those people suck. But like, there'll probably be 50 years where someone's like watching technology in their own way, and they look back at like your YouTube videos or something like that, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't watch YouTube videos."
Well,
yeah, my eyeball.
The medium maybe, but hopefully, I mean, I guess the way I talk could fucking trigger people too. They might not like the way I talk, because I don't know. Things come in waves, man. Like there is going to be a generation that, like, I feel like our generation is. They just want some straight talk. They just want somebody to tell them what they're thinking. Like, they don't want any kind of weird dressed up in a certain, you know what I mean? Like, don't give me any weird, like, rules of decorum where I got to sound a certain way or talk a certain way or, like, just tell me what you're thinking. But there is going to be a generation that comes that wants to be more, like, massaged and fucking finessed, and, like, they don't want somebody to just give them the straight talk. You got to couch it. You know what I mean? Like, that's possible.
Come back around.
Yeah, like, that's got to come back in style. Like, they're going to... Go ahead.
Who's the president that did, like, the fireside chat shit?
Oh, that was FDR.
Wasn't that almost like a fucking mini podcast in a way? Like,
kind of.
Sit down with people by, like,
he's the first podcaster.
For real, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit was, like, on the radio. Like, I think they would fucking stream that shit on the radio just like him talking with somebody.
And wasn't that I think that was before TV, too. So that was, like, everybody's entertainment. Or would be like, let's listen to the president tell us what's going on. That's the equivalent of Trump tweeting. Oh, my God. That's the same. Nuts. That's the same shit. Trump is doing is just a stupider version of a fireside chat. Yo, all he does, I swear to God, son, all he does is tweet about the TV shows he watches.
You still think it's him tweeting?
100% it's him tweeting. He was just tweeting about some Fox News shit.
Do you think Bernie Sanders tweets on his shit, or he's got a person who does his shit?
I think for Bernie it's probably 50-50. Like, a lot of it's him, but then a lot of it is whoever.
You think Bernie is hacking away at a fucking phone for his tweets?
I don't know, but a lot of the stuff that's said is unquestionably his voice. So I think he may have sat down and, like, written out a bunch of stuff that could then be put as tweets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think. Well, so you see this with like Tiger Woods' account and all this shit. Like, even in his he's
not tweeting. Tiger's not tweeting.
But it says Tiger, like, tweets by Tiger have like a TW next to them or
and,
some shit.
And none of them ever say TW. So he's never tweeting. Real? Yeah, none of them ever say it.
I think there was like a couple like that like it's just showing that, like, that's him writing the shit.
Yeah, that means it's him writing it, but it never says TW, so he never writes shit.
Yeah, no, he probably rarely does it, but I'm sure he's done a couple.
Maybe in the whole time I've been on Twitter, maybe I've seen one Tiger Woods tweet that actually said TW.
And I've said this a million times before, but I find it, one, especially for Bernie Sanders, I think he's got to have someone who, maybe he says to them, like, hey, tweet out something about the fucking 1% or some shit, and then they have, like, a fucking representative or whoever the fuck, like, puts the thing out. And I think it's the same shit with Trump, man. I don't think he actually...
You've never been more wrong in your life, dude. Let me read you... Let's just go to some very recent Trump tweets. You can tell when it's his staff. You 100% can tell when it's his staff. There's no doubt about it.
You know what I was also thinking about that like, before we read some of the Trump tweets? I saw a Twitter respond to someone. Imagine being hired by Twitter to fucking run Twitter's Twitter account.
Oh my God.
Isn't that like a like, you have to be the best tweeter ever, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility, isn't it? Okay, here we go. I'm just going to read you some of these.
That one blew my mind a little bit. Like, whoever has that role is like that must have been a fucking intense, like, hiring process.
Here you go. Ready? This is from earlier today. In 2016, I almost won Minnesota. In 2020, because of America-hating anti-Semite Representative Omar and the fact that Minnesota is having its best economic year ever, I will win the state. We are going to be a nightmare for the president, she says. No, AOC plus 3 are a nightmare for America. That's so him. When an old wall at the southern border that is crumbling and falling over, built in an important section to keep out problems, is replaced with a brand new 30-foot high steel and concrete wall, the media says no new wall has been built. Fake news! Building lots of wall. He said building lots of wall, dog. No staffer is typing building lots of wall.
Oh no.
Building lots of wall. That's only some shit Trump could come up with.
Tells this dude to dumb it down.
You're so wrong.
He's still talking about the wall though.
Yo, my favorite shit is when it'll be like 4 a.m. and he'll just tweet some shit in all caps with an exclamation point. This shit it'll be like 4 a.m. and out of nowhere it'll be like, no collusion, witch hunt.
Just randomly.
Always some shit like that. The one that he just did the other, maybe last night, was "Keep America Great." It was just all caps, exclamation point. That's 100% Trump. Nobody would do that. What social media team would tell him, here's what you got to do, bro, at like 4 o'clock in the morning, all caps, some exclamation points, just say this. Nobody would tell him that.
Like, he's definitely fucking some chick at 4 in the morning or some shit like that. Like, he's not worried about Twitter.
Oh, you know what's so disgusting is that there are plenty of MAGA moms out there who cannot wait to suck his dick.
He could probably bag a lot of hot women right now.
There are a lot of women out there. Like, you know what I've thought before? And this is wrong, but I thought it because I saw it. Listen, I think her name is Lara Trump, some shit. Let me look it up.
Uh-huh.
It's one of his...
he could probably bag some of the women that are even, like, accusing him of shit still.
That's possible. But wait.
Like, Stormy definitely still wants to be on his shit.
So, Lara Trump, Lara, she's married to Trump's son, Eric Trump. And I get this weird vibe that she kind of wants to blow Trump, son.
I mean, she might be. I mean, that could be like his undercover disguise shit of just banging like his son's wives and they don't say anything.
Because here's the thing. All she does, the only time I've ever seen her, she's on TV, like, just nonstop talking about how awesome Trump is. And she's so hard on the MAGA stuff, like, make America great again. Oh, these libtards are so stupid. But, like, it's so over the top that it's like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
something's going on.
Like, really, this... You look at your husband's dad and you look up to him like, wow, he's so brave and he's saving the country, and I get a weird vibe, dog. And you know Trump has no morals. He'd be like,
yeah, come over here.
That's the sense I get, man.
Did you see there was a video? There was a couple at like a New Jersey golf club that they like got married, and the whole wedding theme was like pro-Trump. Did you see that shit?
I did, yeah.
And
he showed up.
DJ like dropping a beat, and it was like a Trump speech. And he's like, "We're gonna make America smart again," and like the beat was building up, and the DJ's like, "It's coming."
Didn't he show up?
We're gonna make America great. Yeah, he was there. He was like at the golf course that weekend or something. So the couple, I guess he went by the party, and like he hugs the guy, and then he gives like the wife like 2 kisses on the cheek. It was so creepy, like. As the husband standing right there, and you see the husband.
It's so weird how culty it is, man. Like that is like to have a Trump-themed wedding.
Yeah,
a
Trump. They all had like MAGA hats and the Trump flags. I
mean, a Trump-themed wedding is insanity.
I even saw a guy out here in Illinois had a huge pickup truck. And you know how on the back sometimes you could put a flag, a huge Trump, that blue Trump flag. And it says "Make America Great Again."
Dude, people
had that shit flying on the back.
See, this is the thing. The people who are pro-Trump are so insanely pro-Trump that it's creepy, man.
But you know what's crazy though, in a way, like, and Trump's terrible, but like, there was the same shit for Obama too. Like, I bought an Obama FUBU shirt because it had. Like,
Did you
Obama
really?
shit.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so sad. You shouldn't have done that. That's so weird.
No, but like. People were just as crazy for Obama too. Like,
I never saw an Obama-themed wedding. Let's Google that. Obama-themed wedding.
Yeah, an Obama-themed wedding is a little much, but like, I feel like he had a big craze following behind him too, you know, and like just. Like,
I'm in love with this couple's Obama-themed engagement shoot. The fuck does that mean? Let me click.
That's fucking weird.
I'm looking it up right now.
Comedy shows are so weird. Oh, there's a comedy show they're trying to make.
They try to
Kenan
copy
Thompson,
him.
Christy Teigen and Jeff Dunworthy or whatever his name is.
Chrissy Teigen is not funny.
Yeah, I don't think she's funny either. And I mean,
nobody likes to
tweets. That's it.
That's what I was gonna say. Twitter loves to suck her off like nobody's business.
Yep.
I don't see anything. I see some people who tried to copy the Obama's wedding photos, which is pretty weary.
Fine.
Is it? Weird, I don't know about that.
I mean, if they did it at like an iconic place or something like that, and they try to just, replicate that.
But I don't see any like Obama-themed weddings. I do see the Trump shit though.
But if you're going out of your way to put a big Trump flag on the back of your car, it's like.
But the thing that's crazy is that dude, as much as that person loves Trump, they can't tell you shit about what he's actually doing in office.
Yeah.
Like, all they can tell you is that they like him because they like how he tweets, and they like how he triggers the liberals, and they like how he's against the fake news media. Like, they love that, but then if you say, like, all right, dog, name one policy he's implemented since he became president, they wouldn't be able to answer it. There's no way.
They defend him to the fucking grave. So I've got a friend on Facebook who, well, a friend in real life, but on Facebook he like puts not a whole bunch of negative shit. Like he'll hear the other side if they've got a point, and he put something up about about the women and Trump. Like he was like, well, were his comments racist or something like that? And he had all these Trump people still defending him and saying all this shit. So I just messaged him and I was just like, yo, you could dead ass go like, and there was a website, we looked it up, that generates fake news articles about Trump. Like Trump tells reporters like stop being a wetbag or some shit and just fucking suck it up. And I was like, you should just post that article and see if they defend him on that shit. He was like, yeah, I might do that.
They would definitely do it.
100%. So what he did was in like he was going back and forth with this one kid in the comments, and he was like, here, check these links. It talks about blah 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 blah. He put like 4 links. And one of the links was like how to increase your penis size. And they kept talking. And he was just like, you didn't even realize that I just put an article on how to increase your penis size showing that you don't fucking read any of this shit. I was like, that was so fucking
That's actually pretty genius. Although it could have easily been flipped back on him where the dude was like, stop lying. You accidentally clicked that and sent it to me. And obviously you were just looking up how to make your shit bigger.
Yeah, they could have came back and backfired. But
yeah,
like, the fact
hell
that,
yeah.
like, nobody caught that shit for like 5 more comments, and then he wrote like, nobody even realized, but I just put a how to increase your dick size link in one of those fucking things.
Yeah, man.
Just like, how often do you think? I mean, you sometimes get into a back and forth with people. Like,
no, not on Twitter anymore. Hell no.
But like back in the day, do
back
you think
in the day,
people would
sure.
actually like read a link or something that you clicked on or would post or some shit?
Probably not, no. I mean, there's some like research on this, and it's really scary how, like, if you make a good point and you make a good argument and you back it up with like research, it's some very tiny percentage of the time does that work on people. In other words, it's like it's hard to actually reason with people.
Yeah.
Because there's more that goes into people making their mind up than just like the data. A lot of what leads to people making their mind up is like how they affiliate themselves with the world around them. Like, what are their experiences? Who did they grow up around? What team do they think they're playing for? Like, what's their political affiliation, and how much are they married to that political affiliation? Like, there's so much
biases.
Yeah, there's so much more that goes into it. It's just not. They don't look at it like I'm looking for what is true. They go into it like I already have on like 7 different kinds of blinders, and I'm just going to try to steer this however much I can in the direction for what I already believe in. And that's kind of sad. I mean, if you think about it, that's really sad. Because it's like, how can people make informed decisions? I mean, that's how you get a situation where Trump, in some polls, has a 40% approval rating. Dog, that's 4 out of 10 people. That's almost half the country. That's like, I agree with that guy. What do you mean you agree with him? What does that mean? Like, yeah, I agree with him. I think he's doing a good job. Again, what percentage of them can name anything he's actually done? My guess is like very tiny percentage of them can name anything he's actually done. It's just sad. It really is sad.
It's a fucking weird time. So I don't know if it was you or someone tweeted a video of some lady on, it was CNN or MSNBC, but she was talking about Bernie Sanders, and just straight up was just like, I don't know what it is about Bernie Sanders, but he just makes my skin like.
He makes my skin crawl, and he's anti-woman.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, she said that shit.
Somebody responded to it, and I thought it was brilliant. They were like, oh, it's because you're an anti-Semite. Because Bernie's Jewish, and if you're going to accuse him of being anti-woman based on nothing, okay, 2 could play at that game. You hate Jews.
Yeah.
And you actually said, hey, I don't like him. I don't know why. Yeah, maybe it's because you just hate Jews.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you can't fucking defend that shit if you're her. Like, you just did the same exact shit.
Did the same shit. The same shit.
That one got me mad. I was just like, how do they even like? If I'm the fucking comment like moderator, I think he was just like, all right, we're gonna leave it at that, and we'll come right back. Like
that's what he did.
Gotta be like,
he just moved on.
You got to be like, hold on.
I know exactly.
How the fuck did you say that?
But
what are you basing that on?
The good news is this: every single left-wing YouTube show did a segment on that. Myself included. Everybody did. Everybody talked about that because it was just so egregious. It's like, yo, you're not even trying anymore, man. Like, you guys are not even trying with your anti-Bernie propaganda. You're just doing, like, the lowest shit.
Yeah, that one was fucking weird. To not have someone, like, fucking... I feel like even a Fox News reporter would have been like, oh, that's a little much, but we'll be right back.
By the way, are you excited that there's going to be a Kyle and Corin animated coming out?
I'm so excited. I was going to ask Adreezy or whatever when that shit's going to drop. I've been going into his live feeds and watching his shit, man. I fuck with him. I told him I would do a chat with him.
He's talented, man. Talented dude.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like, and I give him a lot of props, man, because something I was telling you about was like I sort of got like a fake head start on my YouTube channel. Shout out to all the 900 people that are gonna go over there and subscribe. But he's like, he goes home after work and will just hop on his shit and like do the editing with like 5-6 people in the chat, and then like he'll just still tweet it out like, yo, gonna do a live chat, do a live stream, and like it doesn't blow up, nothing like that, but he's just on there, he puts some music on and fucking vibes out, like people show up, he's got some regulars that stay in his shit, and he just does his shit, man. It's impressive. Like, it's because I get discouraged and shit like that. It's hard to fucking stay with that shit when you don't have like, you know, like a big base, you know?
You gotta understand, though, everybody has to start somewhere. Like, everybody has to start somewhere. It's not...
Yeah.
Nobody who does this was ever just, like, snap their fingers and the second they started their YouTube channel, it's like, boom, I got 100,000 people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
no, right.
Everybody had to start somewhere. So, yeah, I give him mad props. It shows that he loves doing what he's doing. That's what it shows. That he really enjoys it, and that this is something that he's using his creative talents and his abilities, and it shows, man. I mean, it is really good. The most recent episode, which is on his channel, everybody should check out his channel. He has me upload it on my channel after it's been on his for a while, so I try to promote it when it's on his, so that he gets traffic there, and when I upload it on my channel, I do a little thing where I say, like, oh, you know, you can go to his channel and check it out, yada, yada. But the most recent one on his channel is hilarious. I remember, like, legit getting a belly laugh out of it. It's almost like watching secular talk as if it's South Park.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I watched, like, all of his shits. I mean,
they're all good.
It's out there sometimes. It'll just be, like, some random shit.
The one that I just uploaded on my channel was the 2016 election one, where it's me giving advice to tell Hillary how she could win, and then me giving advice to telling Trump how he can win, and it's just hilarious.
That one was good.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. And he picks up on little nuances too. Like, he sees all the shit. Like, I was in the chat, I was like, yo, like, you got to throw some banging snacks in our hand. He's like, come on, dog. Like,
I already got that.
I fucking knew that shit. Like,
not for nothing, it does kind of look like you. Did he put the bags under the eyes for you?
Yeah, he put some crazy bags under my eyes. I don't know how to get rid of those shits.
He gave you the facial hair, and he gave you the little bags under the eyes, and he gave you the hair that's darker than mine.
Did he make me? He made me a little paler, I think, too. Like, the complexion is a little.
I'm darker skin. You're lighter skin.
Which is accurate.
That's accurate. Yeah, I mean, he does it. See, the thing that's difficult for him sometimes is that, like, I changed my studio a bunch. Like, there was a bunch of different iterations of the studio, and it's hard for him every time I change it. He has to change the animation of my studio, and that's a lot of work. So he like, you know, had updated it a bunch or whatever. But yeah, it's like that's why it was like, it's a lot of work for him to do the Kyle and Corin animated.
Man,
so
I was watching him do this shit, and there's like one scene of like just me eating some Skittles. Took like mad fucking clicks to do some shit.
It's a lot of work, bro. He's doing. Think about it. Work. It requires a whole team to do like episode of South Park, and he's one dude, and he's doing a whole like 6-minute cartoon with the storyline and everything, where he's got to bring in other clips. He's got to, you know, animate everything.
Yeah. Speaking of that shit, are you gonna see any of the animated like Lion King? I wanted to see Toy Story. I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. No.
Nah. What was the one that was trending on Twitter the other night? Cats. Everybody was creeped out by the Cats thing.
Oh, that was a terrible fucking Broadway show. I don't know why they're bringing it back as a movie. Like, it was the longest running show on Broadway, but how and why? It's a bunch of fucking cats,
I remember
like,
my whole childhood. I remember about that like Cats was
remember
a thing.
Yeah, it used to be on Broadway.
Yeah.
It'd, like, always be a commercial and be like,
always
"Come
be a
down to this
commercial.
theater
Yeah.
and see the longest running show on Broadway." And I'm like, when I was like 2, and I was like, well, how long has this shit been on Broadway for?
You know, I saw Denzel Washington on Broadway.
I remember. You went with Hen, right?
That shit was gangster. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so great. That was really
brother
cool.
Said he just watched Equalizer 2. I haven't watched any of the Equalizer shits yet.
Oh, you would enjoy those. Those are pretty good.
Didn't he like work at Home Depot in the first one, and the second one he was like an Uber driver?
Something like that. But it's not like that's all he does.
I know, he fucks everybody up. It's just like,
imagine that's the whole movie. It's just Denzel's an Uber driver
working at Home Depot,
and there's no plot. Somebody just like, "Hey man, where can I get new pliers from? Mine is rusty." He's like, "Yeah."
My man, aisle 17. It's like the next scene is like the guy checking out, and Denzel just like he like tips his hat to the guy.
Shit.
Someone else comes in. He's like, "Hey man, I just need some ant killer against the wall."
That's the whole movie. Denzel at Home Depot.
He's an Uber driver that just nothing exciting. He just like legit. He gets in the car. He's like, "Rob,
it turns
where are
into
you going? Empire State Building? Okay, we'll be there in 10 minutes."
It turns into an episode. Remember the old school Real Sex episodes where people get in the car and then they start confessing shit out of nowhere?
That show was crazy. I used to like that shit.
Yeah, but that's from back in the day when we were like really young and just looking for some shit on TV to jerk off to, and you'd be like,
I feel like I would still like that show.
I remember just like I would always be, what was it? There was Cinemax, which was Skinemax, which always had like softcore porn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was on HBO. What did they have? They had more than just Real Sex. They had some other like porn thing that was on there.
There used to just be some random shows at like 2 a.m. that like just be like a romantic movie or some shit that would be like normal for like 15 minutes, and then if you missed the fucking scene, it was a wrap, because like then you had to watch them go bowling and then like actually do some shit.
Yeah, the weirdest movies.
Go back to the music.
The weirdest movies of all time. Like softcore porns are having an identity crisis because they don't know what the fuck they are. They don't know if like what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be like a romantic comedy type movie or something where, you know, like women enjoy it mostly? Or are you trying to be like, for the dudes in the audience, you're just trying to be like a porn but like a really bad one? Like, what are you doing here? It's just such an identity crisis.
Yeah, they were weird. But like once you saw them in the living room or some shit, like getting a little bit closer, you're like,
and then the music kicks in. Yeah, exactly.
Start tugging at his jeans or some shit.
What was the definition of a softcore porn? I think it was when they don't show the dude's dick, right? Like that's the definition. They don't show penetration.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they got a fake. They got a fake fuck.
A couple years ago, I'd be like, "Oh shit, he's not actually really hitting that shit."
Yeah. You could
see that. That's impressive.
It's so different, a softcore porn versus a regular porn. Like softcore porn is, you don't see any. All you see is like titties, and then like they're just both naked.
I saw a picture of, I think it was not Lisa Ann. I think it was like one of the blonde ladies or whatever. She was like taking her daughter to like West Virginia or some shit, and it was just like parents' weekend's about to be lit, something like that. It's like she had like a dope daughter, and like she was going to college, and like they were just eating in the cafeteria, and someone took a picture like, damn, that's whatever her name was.
So like a porn actress,
a mom with like a fucking 19-year-old daughter.
Damn. I wonder how you have that conversation with your kid. Like she obviously knows what her mom does.
Yeah, like, hey, don't go any house parties this weekend. And be like, Mom, you just got fucked in the ass 4 times on every unicorn video. Don't tell me I can't go out on Friday night.
Oh my god.
She's like, yeah, checkmate.
You know what was trending on Twitter the other day? AIM.
What?
AIM. It was it wasn't AIM. It was like 90s something, like 90s whatever, and AIM was one of the things that people were tweeting about.
Oh.
And people were talking about like what's like the worst AIM names that you had or whatever. My shit was like Road Dog. I was trying to, remember the wrestler Road Dog?
You had a screen name, Road Dog?
Yeah, on AIM.
I remember like Kyle Kalinske, like 11 or some shit like that.
On AIM? Nah, it was Road Dog.
Your screen name?
Road Dog, and then some numbers.
Your shit used to be your name with like a number at the end of it.
That was maybe when I like matured a little bit, but my first shit was like
remember Road Dog.
Well, I had that in like 6th grade for a hot minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Football 43.
Football 43? That is so generic, son.
I know. I think I wanted 3, and the numbers were all taken up until 43.
You put football. You're not even a big football fan, bro.
I know. I don't know why. Yeah, Football 43, and then I think I matured to like Corn Chip 11.
Yeah, you matured to Corn Chip. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was just that shit is mad basic. It's like football.
Damn, honestly, the last time I remember seeing AIM. You ready for this? Me and you were going to Mickey's, and we stopped back off at your house. This was back when I was at the dealership.
So I could put an away message up?
No, not so you could put an away message up. But you were just, like, straight up auto-signed into it, and I heard, like, the sound of the door closing, because when people sign in and sign out, you get the noises. And I remember I heard the noise. I was like, yo, I haven't heard that noise in a minute. And you were like, oh, yeah, that's my AIM. Like, I'm always on my AIM shit. And I was like, what? And I remember thinking, like, damn, I forgot about that. And you were like, yeah, that's Greg right there. That's somebody else. Like, there were people who were still logged onto it. Son, this was like 2012. That's not even that long ago.
It isn't that long ago. That's pretty wild. Yeah. I remember I had it on, like, there was a way I got it on my phone, too.
I had a sidekick.
So happy.
I had a sidekick.
Oh, those were the fucking shit.
I know. I had them way after everybody else, though. I had it like 3 years later.
Nah, but still, those were like, if you brought it back now, that would be the shit.
That's such a Kyle thing to do. Like, they had it when it was the hot shit, like 3 years ago, and then I got it 3 years later, and I was like, yo, look what I got, y'all. And everybody's like, what? We're way past that, bro.
Damn. Yeah. I wonder, no, AIM's out of business now. I was going to say, if you try to sign on now, if there would still just be like anybody chilling on that shit.
Oh, no way.
But I think the whole shit is deaded.
But it's so funny because I have such fond memories of AIM, but like, if you think about it, why would you need AIM when you could just text people?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I don't think you could text back then, though.
Yeah, you could. You could text back then.
I don't think texting was like really popular, though.
Well,
not that I remember.
You're saying when AIM first came out?
Yeah, when AIM was even prime, you couldn't, like, texting wasn't a thing. I think texting blew up after AIM.
Let's do some research on this.
I believe.
I feel like I remember texting being expensive for a hot minute.
Yeah.
When did texting become popular? In 1997, it became the first manufacturer to produce a mobile phone with a full keyboard.
Oh, so that shit was way before AIM then.
That's not when it became popular. Let's see when it became popular. Okay, a brief history of texting. Let's see. Can you imagine? Blah, 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 blah. Just get to the point.
Sucking off Bill.
1992 was when somebody developed something. 97, it became the first manufacturer to produce a phone with a keyboard. That was Nokia that did that.
I remember Nokia had the text. Yeah, I think I had that shit. No, I had a Kyocera.
Okay, it doesn't say what I'm looking for there. Text messaging explodes in America. 2008? What? No way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This shit was way after AIM and all that shit.
American cell phone users are sending... This is CBS from 2008, September 23rd, 2008. American cell phone users are sending more text messages than they are making phone calls, according to a Nielsen mobile survey released Monday. For the second quarter in 2008, U.S. mobile subscribers sent and received an average of 357 text messages per month, compared to making and receiving 204 phone calls. In the first quarter of 2006, Americans sent and received 65 text messages per month. So in 2006, it was 65 text messages per month. So when did it? So when did it start? Probably 2003 or early 2000, something like that.
Yeah, which is still past, like, it's like the tail end of AIM shit.
When did AIM debut? Let's see this. AOL Instant Messenger was created in 1997.
Yeah, and probably ran, like, when did that shit die down?
December 15th, 2017 was when it was discontinued. So
yeah, but it probably was dead for like about.
It was dead for like a decade, you know. But 97 to like, I guess 97 to like 2005.
I don't even know if it was hot in 97. It probably needed a couple years to like fucking simmer.
I feel like it burst on the scene. No, like remember?
Oh, really?
I that's what I think, but I could just be dead wrong.
AOL was around for a hot minute, and then AIM was like, this is like sort of a shortcut. You know, you don't have to go through all the bullshit.
Exactly. That's like, it was originally AOL, and I remember using AOL, and then AIM, I remember that, that was the like, oh, this is that, but you don't have to deal with the bullshit. It's just the best part of AOL.
Yeah, just chat with people.
Yeah. Damn, I miss it, man. It doesn't even exist anymore. That's fucked up.
It'll come back somehow.
Nah, because
you don't think so?
Because we all text each other now. What do we need to fucking instant message for?
But it's gonna revert back somehow or some way, like.
But you don't need, like, here's why it won't, because there are more steps that are unnecessary. Like, you have to create a screen name. Like, why would I do that when I could just pick up my phone and text you? There's no reason. Like, let me sign into this other shit so that Corin could sign into his other shit so that he could then send me something that he could just send me without us signing into some shit.
I think it made it more accessible to, like, talk to people, you know, like. If I'm like, this is back before I was married and all this stuff, but like, I'm not gonna text a girl because like, I don't know if she's by her phone or if she wants to text me back. But if I see she's online, it's more, you know, inviting to just be like, what's up?
I get the logic of it. Like, it's more of an invitation to others. Like, if you want to talk to me, we could talk.
Yeah, like
I remember having conversations with friends who, like, back in the day when we were kids and we were on AIM, like. I would have conversations with like 5, 6, 7 friends on that shit at once and just be chilling and talking.
Yeah, and I don't know, it just made it easier to flow like conversation.
That's so true.
Like I said, like I'm logging on this shit for 2 hours, ready to talk. Ask me shit.
We probably had mad conversations that we don't even remember on that.
Yeah, man. Oh, that would be epic to just go back to those conversations. Like, yeah, people should fucking go back and dig those shits up somehow. Like, whoever fucking was a programmer for AIM, find me some of my old chats, because some shits are probably epic. Like, we're probably just talking about fucking God knows what. Shit that happened in school.
We were kids, so
read us a thread. We're just like, yo, you remember 7th period when Bobby grabbed his dick and the teacher was like, don't grab your dick.
And then he grabbed his dick again.
And he grabbed his dick again. And I was like, all right, gotta go eat.
GTG or G2G, whatever the hell you put. Yeah, man, I miss AIM. All right, on that note, let's wrap it up. I
want to ask you one shit. Have you followed the Area 51 shit?
No, but I heard that people are trying to storm Area 51. I don't know for what reason.
Yeah, and I don't know when they're doing it. I thought it was like, in a while. Like, it was far away, but I don't know if it's like, it could be happening tonight or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
51 was what? Is that where they found an alien, or is that where they like?
Well,
the alien supposedly.
There's nothing that's confirmed because it's all been kept secret. But like, the idea is that's where we did like testing on alien technology and potentially on aliens. Is Area 51.
I'll put a whole squash to fucking aliens. There's definitely fucking life that exists outside of Earth, but there's no fucking aliens that are like walking, communicating, doing all that shit. Because like,
are there aliens who have like visited briefly, in terms of like with the flying saucer shit, and then they dip?
No.
There's like, no aliens that ever crashed anywhere or anything?
No. All that shit is bullshit. 1,000% bullshit. Because if you look at fucking U.S., to become a pilot, you got to learn how to fucking fly. You got to push buttons and shit like that. Like, you got to have motherfuckers that build the spacecraft. You're telling me that an alien that's crashing into Earth, like, put in fucking flight time hours and did flight simulators and learned how to fly a fucking spaceship? like just like people just got to stop being dumb for a second and think about like that shit. And I'm dead ass. Like, anyone want to write in the comments like, "Oh, Corin, you're an idiot. Think about it. Look at the alien. Look at the alien perspective." Maybe like I don't want to hear your bullshit. A fucking alien has to learn how to fly. There's got to be like an American Airlines alien, like not AA, AAA, like alien American Airlines.
You said pushing buttons and shit like that. In your description of flying, you said people gotta learn to push buttons and shit. Oh my god!
I'm dead ass. Like I don't want to hear any explanation on this shit. I don't want to fucking link to a video. I don't want you tweeting me. Like all I want you doing is subscribing to Corin's World.
Okay, so let me say this. I think you're right. Like your instinct is right that there's probably like if nothing's been proven at this point, then that means there's nothing to prove that there are no aliens in that sense. But I agree that there is life elsewhere. We just haven't discovered it yet.
Exactly.
And I also agree that there's mad shit. But that's the thing is you don't know what's real and what's not real. You don't know what's legit and what's not legit. Like the story that just came out like last year where there was like a fighter pilot and then some unidentified flying object that like popped into the view and then like really sped away really quick. Like what was that? I don't know what it was. But everybody jumps to like extraterrestrial life. And it's like, well, there's probably like 30 other explanations that make sense before that one.
Yeah. Like and that to your point, it's just like if we haven't found some shit by now and everything's undercover and Area 51 is fucking secure and secluded and like you can't ever look inside that shit, then don't tell me about that shit. Like everything we've found like has happened. Like we would have found some alien shit already. There would have been a piece of the fucking spacecraft or some shit. Like we never found that shit. So I'm mad confused when like even Rogan talking to that Bob Lazar guy or whatever, and I didn't listen to that interview.
Did you watch it on Netflix? You watch his thing on Netflix?
I didn't watch that shit either.
I watched it.
Was it convincing or like?
No, not really. Good? Like I watched it and I was like, I don't know. My reaction was I don't know. He could easily be full of shit or he could easily be telling the truth. I just don't know.
What is it? Him trying to explain like how aliens were here?
Just watch it. Just watch it. Because there's no way.
Motherfucker that saw them.
What's that?
Like he's the only motherfucker.
No. His what he says is he was hired by the U.S. government to do testing on material that they had, and he explains how the material that they had was basically alien technology, and they wanted to bring in the top guys to like work on it and figure out what it was and figure out how we could like replicate it. And he has this long explanation, but then they go in the documentary. The documentary is sympathetic to him, and it's clear to tell. But also they bring up there are some like genuine things of like, you could be full of shit, bro. Like there's some points that are like, it just seems like you could easily just
made some shit up.
Yeah, make some shit up and just run with it all this time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you know how hard it is to fly a fucking plane? Like, I never learned how to do that shit, but like, there's fucking hours and hours and hours that go into that shit. There's no fucking alien that is learning how to do that shit.
Well, I mean, obviously, if aliens exist and they've come here, obviously their intelligence level is way above and beyond us.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
They've made it this far, and like.
But then that also begs the question. Well, then how the fuck do you crash? You're so smart and you're so brilliant. And, like, you're so much more intelligent than us, but you crashed in, like, fucking Oklahoma. What?
Yeah. Like, yeah. I think I heard one part of it that was just, like, I would land that shit on the top of the fucking Empire State Building or some shit. Like, I would land that shit in the middle of Yankee Stadium. Like, somewhere fucking dope. Like, going to fucking Vault Casino or some shit.
Stephen Hawking said, we would never want to meet aliens because if they exist and if they came here, they would probably treat us like we treat beings that are lesser than us. And think about how we treat like animals and shit. We usually like kill them and eat them, and you know what I mean?
I'm so over people trying to say that they're fucking aliens. Like,
I was just never that interested in the question. I was just never that interested in it. It doesn't keep me up at night to think about it.
Yeah, me neither. But like, it keeps me up at night thinking that there's people that keep fucking staying up at night thinking about that shit.
That's pretty
like
funny.
That fucking guy who's got that Trump flag on the back of his fucking car.
Yeah, that was crazy. Anyway, all right, guys, we love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Much love. Peace.